Hello, I'm Jason Turner and I'm joined here by my colleagues, Nadiah, Jasmine and Dr. Eby. And we're going to talk about new educational norm, enhanced learning, an analysis of online learning tools and the capacity to deliver an all-encompassing learning experience. As you can see, newspaper headlines have changed between 2020 and 2021 and emphasize the challenges that staff and students are facing with online learning to ensure that learning is enhanced and employability is improved. I think the significance was that the learning curve has been steep. I don't think anyone anticipated the differences in terms of the management of the classroom, different levels in terms of assessment, how to deal with interconnectivity, and also students' understanding and technological understanding of the various learning tools that they're engaging with. Learning spaces are becoming very important. And what we're going to do today is go through some benchmarked examples of good practice, which will help you and enhancing the student learning experience. So I will now hand over to my colleagues with this context that technology is well known, but do students really understand the technology that they are engaging with? They may understand Facebook, but do they understand these digital learning platforms? Are they connected? So these questions will be part of the enhancement that we're going to look at when we go through each specific learning platform.
Now, hello everyone. My name is IBIWANI, and I'm going to speak about how we applied drawing tablets to replace the face-to-face session when teaching our students. Now, when we do face-to-face teaching, we usually draw a lot or write a lot on the board. Now, in the absence of that, the alternative that we have is through a drawing tablet. How this is work is we need to make sure that engagement is done with students. So we want to welcome engagement from them by putting things that we used to draw on board on the drawing tablets. Approach that we use is basically to replicate the look and the feel to make sure students are engaged with the learning through internet connection, not through the face-to-face session that we used to have previously. Now the next slide is going to show you how the drawing tablet is being applied. We will be using various colors to make sure that students understand each and every point that we are trying to address. Different color represents different point. So this will help to make sure that students are engaged and they are able to clearly understand the points that are being addressed to them. So the next platform that we would like to introduce to you will be explained by my colleague Jasminder.
Thank you, Dr. IBIWANI. In regards of the same, when we are looking into the combination of these tools of podcast and mind map, it is seen to be very useful in theoretical intensive modules. The focal point of using this combination is to enable students to achieve a bird's eye view understanding of the concept with confidence. Now, the mind map created through diverse apps such as Koggle or even Mind Map Pro sets the tone of the key information in a systematic manner, allowing students to realize conceptual thinking. Mind mapping is also seen to enable students to connect theory and practice, linking themes between lessons, develop problem-solving skills, and also retain knowledge for a longer period of time. The podcast then solidifies this realization, especially with students having the opportunity to tune in to relive the concept learned during the lesson. The tune in to the podcast can be seen during the self-learning time. These podcasts can be featured either in audio form or visual form, depending on the needs of the module. The challenge of passive learning is seen, but it can be curbed through reflection-based activities following the lessons utilizing these tools. So you can have recap sessions or discussion-based ones to reflect the learning, and this can be done through either breakout sessions or forum, one of which would be spoken about in this presentation shortly. This provides students the space to express their views or interpretations as well as support each other's learning. In a nutshell, these tool combinations work well with students with the combination of auditory and visual, or auditory and kinesthetic strengths. This particular slide that has been showcased to you depicts the bird's eye view and the key information that it captures. I will now present the floor to my colleague Nadiah, who will speak, my apologies, Dr. IBIWANI, who will speak about the recap sessions.
Thank you, Jasmine. The next platform that we will discuss is the recap session. Usually, upon completing any lecture or tutorial, we need to have a recap session with the students to ascertain their understanding on the lesson that been learned or that been taught to them. So, a safer way of doing things online on a recap session is by applying Kahoot, one of the tools that we are familiar with in our university, as well as quizzes. These are basically best applied to the lower level students, for example, diploma, foundation, or year one students. How this works is that we need to prepare sets of assessment, short assessments to students and upload that during the session accordingly. So students will test their understanding using this platform and address if there are any concern or things that they are not clear about with the facilitator or the lecturer. So this way, it will help to reduce their digital fatigue because they've been looking at screen and engage online since morning or almost every day. So this is one way for us to help them reduce the digital fatigue. So feedback from the lower level students, they basically welcome the recap session through Kahoot or even short quizzes. And this is the best approach so far to this lower level student to have their feedback through a recapping session using these digital tools. The slides that you are seeing right now depicts all the examples that we have been using through recapping session to address students' understanding through Kahoot or even short quizzes. So I'll leave the floor to my colleague Nadiah for the next platform.
Hi, I'm Nadiah. I'm going to talk about discussion space and breakout rooms. So apart from engaging the whiteboard and doing the mind maps overview, as well as the quizzes and recap sessions, this is an additional session, additional method for engaging students where we actually promote the skills of collaboration, communication, as well as teamwork. So it gives also a safe space for the students to discuss instead of putting them on the spot and answer a question in front of the class. So what is a breakout room? Basically, it's a session that is split from the master meeting, from the main meeting, is split into smaller sessions and the students can discuss in the smaller rooms and the facilitator can move from room to room. Yeah, so let's look at the next screen where it shows the communication in the breakout rooms. So on the left-hand side, top left, that's the split of the students into the breakout rooms. That's done in Microsoft Teams. And the right-hand side shows the interface for the instructor. So when the students respond and ask questions, the instructor can drop in and recommend or prompt certain discussions in certain areas. And what you see at the bottom of the screen is Padlet, where the questions can be put up and the students can respond and give their own ideas. And this can be switched on actually for the whole semester for ideas to come through. Yeah, and this can also be used for engaging students in assignments. Okay, so I'll pass the session next to Dr. Jason to conclude the session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nadia. Thank you, colleagues. I think the key takeaways here are that learning, the learners and the staff are all evolving. I think that's the key thing. So we've constantly got to be innovative and creative in our approach to make sure that the graduates are getting the appropriate knowledge from the subjects, are enjoying their learning experience and also having the appropriate employability skills. So staff training is key. Managing student expectations is absolutely essential so that we've got tailored solutions to student learning needs. So hopefully this was informative and that you have some understanding now of the different tools that we use and the actual feedback from staff and students of using these tools. Hopefully it will help you as you continue to enhance student learning. So thank you very much and Thanks for listening to our presentation. Thank you. Goodbye.